Welcome everyone, it's Vapors to Trigger. It is time for some more Raid Shadow Legends. It is time for the grand finale of the Dragon Tournament. Yes, so we're going to be starting off with an all-new team. So hopefully I can get this to work. You can do it on auto, but I'm not going to, because the main thing I'm trying to manipulate here is I'm trying to get my cold heart to survive. And that is not an easy thing to do. As much as it sounds like it's an easy thing to do, it's not. And it's more risky to run this whole thing on auto. So, yeah. There is a lot less healing, especially when you take the Vogoth out of the equation. So take that at face value. Now, there is a number, the main big head honcho here to consider is, in terms of damage, is Occult Brawler, believe it or not. Because he's the one that's going to be doing a lot to the dragon itself. He's not very good versus the waves, but the dragon itself, he allows me to fight this dragon. Now, I'm only going to show the dragon tactics that allow me to fight Dragon 21 at the moment. I'm not going to show any other, because Dragon 21 has been my go-to dragon for the latter half of this tournament, because I need something that can keep my Occult Brawler alive while still trying to get optimum points. Because I've realized that I need to do optimum points to be the real dragon, the dragon, like, not imposter. You don't want to be an imposter in this ring to even get a llama. Forget anything more. I'm not even going to attempt anything more than the llama. Once we get the llama, that's it. That is literally it for this account, at least for the tournament, because the llama is already phenomenally expensive, and the only reason I'm even bothering to go for this llama is because it allows me, it gives me a chance to win the tournament. Like that, I mean, to fuse Helicat. And I was told, you must not skip this fusion, you must win. That's a tall order. That is a very tall order for any of my accounts, because I am renowned for missing or botching fusions. So that is part of the problem. And I'm trying to undo that problem. One of the reasons that I use Demetha in this team is to try to avoid my team from taking too much damage. Because one of the biggest problems with this version is the fact that you take a lot of damage. Running this on auto is relatively perilous. Because you don't, I think it's better done manual than, and you always want to put up this channel bloodline. Do not skip that, because you need as much healing as humanly possible in order to nullify the damage of these waves. The damage of these waves is highly significant. It's why Demeath is involved. It's why I put Vogoth in here, is because these waves hit really, really hard. But they're also really durable, which is why I decided to put Cold Heart in there to spice things up. Especially for the finale. I'll also be showing a Cleopteryx team and a Vogoth team side-by-side comparisons. I don't know if this will give me it, but we will keep going and checking on our score. Because I need as high of a score as possible. Now, I can run this on auto, but usually I use the Vogoth for the auto team because Vogoth is more consistent than Cold Heart for the auto team. Because what happens is that oftentimes Cold Heart doesn't make it, and if it's on auto, which is unfortunate, but it is a reality of the matter. Since I'm already over 2,000 points, I might as well finish this tournament. And finish it with a bang, because dragon hunting is a big part of video games. League of Legends, this game, Elder Scrolls Online, Skyrim. Dragon hunting is really precious. So, and there's a reason why I put the block damage up, trying to get as much healing as possible. Try to nullify the raw damage output, because this boss has very high damage output. I just want to point that out. Very high. Speaking of high damage output, I might try to show a Coffin Smasher team here, because the one thing Coffin Smasher could use for this fight to make it more consistent is decrease attack. And there you go. So that's that team. Let's check on our tournament placement. I've been grinding this remorselessly, by the way. Trying to get the Llama. Okay, I still have a ways before the Llama. Oh, it's difficult. It's really difficult. Okay, let's first craft a perception. We want to break down these quests. It's not really useful because it's got the flat stat. Glyph this. The reason I'm doing this is to try to clean up my gems. Trying to get gems. We'll have to do clan boss. Because I gotta clean up. Okay, we did that. Have that set up. We might as well do some arena because I've been neglecting it. Mainly due to Dragon Tournament. I'm just going for the easy stuff, the easy points. Because one of the problems with doing the Dragon Tournament is it threatens my ability to stay in gold and to get gold arena medals, which, by the way, are essential for okay, there's that. There's that. There's that. Oh, I already missed a llama. Are you kidding me? Man, it's so easy to miss a llama. It's not even funny. Like, I'm just trying to qualify. I'm trying to show different dragon teams. I'm just trying to qualify for the dragon tournament, and I already missed a llama without even realizing it. Man. Alright, the other comp is got Cleopteryx in it. And then we'll just show the standard Vogoth one and show it running. Both on manual and on auto. And I'm just going to keep playing dragon until I get the stupid llama. I swear to God, I've had enough of missing the llama. Because it's hard to get this llama, man. It really is. And I didn't even realize I was missing a llama on here. Even though I was working so incredibly hard to make sure that the llamas... that at least have some of these llamas. And it's so hard to get them from shards, too. Their drop rate is actually really low. I'll be lucky to beat this fusion at all. Or even fuse some of the epics. Like... I need to look at the bright side, though. The bright side is, what's the bright side? That I killed Dragon 21, that I probably have a lot of nice gear from doing this. So... that's the bright side, and it might allow this account to get further in. My main problem, though, with Doom Tower is trying to manipulate the waves. I have to like, I guess I can do Doom Tower stuff, but only after this Dragon Tournament's finished. The main thing I have to do in Doom Tower is I have to kill the enemy Sill and make a fool of them. Basically what I have to do. Basically what I have to do. Now the reason I do this is this is the highest dragon I can consistently clear. And that is, this is the most ambitious I've ever been in a dragon tournament, by the way. I've never worked this hard in a dragon tournament before. Like, on any account, ever. This is the hardest I've ever worked for a dragon tournament. And I still don't know how badly I've already lost this fusion. I'm gonna keep trying, but I am in a very bad place when it comes to getting llamas, because I need as many llamas as humanly possible. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. I mean, I did get a legendary out of it regardless. Me trying to pull Ancients actually got me a freaking War Chief, so it's not the end of the world. It's still bad, but even if I lose this whole thing, I still get a War Chief in the end. Because it may come down to ending up having to pull Helicath, because my track record with fusions is incredibly bad. Also, my Sill of the Drakes, as you might have seen, is has a track record of dying a lot in this. So do expect that. I do have to check her gear. potentially change it up. Now, when it comes to dragon teams, the most consistent one has Vogoth in it because what Vogoth does is it provides extra healing that allows my teams to survive damage that they otherwise would not be able to survive. So that primarily is why he's a big deal. Now, I could also try with Jerrig and see how he would do. Alright, so we don't have Syl in this equation, but we can still win this. The main reason we can win this is because of Occult Brawler's poison and our War Master procs. Along with this block damage on a 3-turn cooldown. That really helps. One of the disadvantages you always want to put this Channel the Bloodline ability up constantly if you have Demetha team. Because Channel the Bloodline is like a signature way that she both heals and stops damage. And Occult Brawler puts up a boatload of poisons. And by cleansing on Occult Brawler, you can also get him to have a secondary turn. And there you go. That's the Cleopteryx one. What other damage dealer teams can we go for? What other teams? Because I'm feeling spicy on the dragon teams. Who do I want to bring into the fray? Probably someone who's going to deal with the wave content, right? And someone who's preferably Force Affinity or Spirit Affinity. You could try Deacon into this. I say this because Deacon makes it so that we do more damage to the enemy team. So, yeah. So that's one way to go about it. Maintaining decreased defense on these guys is reasonably useful, as their defense numbers are obscenely high. Demetha is usually the secret, like the big ingredient in this team comps. I will try the Vogoth team. I guess I could include War Maiden in here because it's the summer. Yeah, why not? I mean, she's people don't showcase War Maiden enough. She's really awesome. And she'd work for this dragon. I mean, I could do Outrider as well. There's a number of teams that I can use versus dragon. I could even use the major healer team, but or at least a portion of it. The problem is the Occult Brawler is not really replaceable for the higher levels of Dragon's Lair unless I developed out Frozen Banshee. And even then you'd want her on a different affinity. Because you need either a Spirit or another affinity Poisoner. Like a Void Poisoner maybe. Like, let me put it this way. If I had a Uragrim, I'd put him in here. But the game gave me a Occult Brawler instead of Uragrim. So, I'm going to do with what I've got. You know? This guy is replaceable with Uragrim. I don't know if Delta's listening. I don't know if he's back or what's going on with him. I know he is having a bad time. I know that. I know he's not having fun because his clan is doing really poorly. Can I help him with that? Not really. Not without destroying the one thing he wanted as I left. He wanted a casual clan. Having a casual clan has a grim, grim price to it. And the grim price is that you will literally take forever, years and years and years, before anything happens. And, yeah, I'm not doing that. The main purpose of Deacon is to try to reduce the amount of defense these enemies have, because their current defense numbers are outlandishly high. And also to control the wave more. Because the second this decreased defense stuff drops off, you're in for a bad time. Because that is when the amount of defense on these waves is really gonna start to smack. The burn plus the Giant Slayer procs and the War Master procs on Syl does help versus this boss. But maintaining decreased defense is almost just as important. I did see Street Fighter 6 and the news about Chun-Li. She is incredibly beautiful. Probably the most beautiful version of Chun-Li I have ever seen in my life. She is so beautiful, it's hard to even associate her with the regular Chun-Li's, the other versions. Yeah, she's bloody incredible. My biggest concern with the game is that it's too good to be true. That's my biggest concern. That's what I'm hoping, for their sake, that all of this is real, that I'm not just dreaming, because otherwise the game is going to be in trouble. And I know you're like, but Vaporsmith, why are you so paranoid about this? It seems certain. Nothing in this world is certain until you see it written on paper. Until you see concrete evidence, 100% verifying that it's real. Until you truly see it in front of your face, you see content creators directly playing the final version of that game, I can't assume anything, especially because it's Capcom. I don't trust Capcom anymore. Not after Street Fighter V. I don't trust them anymore. If I trusted Capcom, that trust was gone from Street Fighter V. Especially how long it took for them to fix the game. Yeah, no. I don't trust them anymore. You're not repairing that trust without proof. You have to prove to me that that's the truth. Are we close to Llama? Please tell me we're close to Llama. Okay, we're close to Llama. Thank God. I still need to do more arena, because I have not been doing that. This is a bit scary, but we'll see what I can do. First, I'm going to kill off the Reviver. This is going to be rough. To say the least. Wow, those bombs do a lot. I'm probably gonna have to do this differently, because this was ill-conceived. Yeah. This was ill-conceived. I'm going to put in someone who can actually, you know, deal with this better, because this was badly done. Can we kill him is the question. Yes. That's how it's done. Alright. This one's a little more elementary. But I'm still not 100% convinced I win. I still need to get this done. I'm still afraid of him, by the way. Don't make no mistake. I'm still afraid of him. Even though he's alone, do not diss him. He will kick your butt. Like, I still need to do arena today on this account, because I haven't been recently. And that's been costing me. Doesn't help that he had the thing. Yeah, we need to do more Dragon's Lair again. Yes, I know it's tedious as sin. I don't even know where the timestamp is, but I swear to God, I have to beat this. I have to get the llama, man. All right, who else are we gonna swap in? We only can swap in one. I guess. I mean, I could show you the Vogoth one, but I think I already did. I could put Drockle in there. People hate Drockle. Oh, I'll put... I actually want to see how Ninja does. You don't need Ninja. Before you start flaming me, you don't need Ninja. He probably won't even survive. But I just want to try. Okay, he can land freeze. Because remember, he's negative affinity here. I'm taking a huge risk by putting him in. Like, huge. I don't normally do this, but I just want to do different dragon teams. Note how he does almost no damage to the waves. He's not for the waves. He's for the boss, as you might imagine. Now, he's not going to be the only... He doesn't even have the accuracy to land. See, he doesn't even belong here. This is a risk. I know you're like, but Vaporsmith, you're cheating by using Ninja... He's not even supposed to be here. It's a risk. I don't even have him that well built. So I'm just doing this for variety to prove that I'm not just a deadbeat. I'm going to do a variety of things in this. See, he just died in the first wave. Like, I'm telling you, he's not exactly cheating. Like, the closest thing I've got to being OP versus this is actually Occult Brawler. But Occult Brawler, as you might have seen, he still has weaknesses. He still can be killed. He still is a poison specialist, which means his use in content is limited. Like, he doesn't even have a multi-hit, so it's hard to even fit him into a Fire Knight team. So, ultimately, that's the thing. Like, he's gonna struggle here, ironically. He's going to struggle, despite the fact everyone thinks he's cheap, or he's cheating. He's going to struggle here because this is not his affinity. This is not where he thrives. Because he's magic affinity, and that's one of his greatest weaknesses is magic affinity. But I still want to use him because this is one of my last use cases for him. That's it. That's literally it. Okay? There are freaking epics and rares that I use more often than him. I freaking use Outrider, an uncommon, more than I use him. I just want to hammer home the point how niche he's literally become because of his nature. And even in this terrible niche, people still will not want me to see me use him because he's considered cheap and they can't get him anymore because they're all freaking noobs. Like, this is the terrible, terrible fate of Ninja, is that I can barely use him anymore. It feels embarrassing to even use him in a dragon tournament, even though it's one of the only things he'll ever do. And until that point, he's just going to sit there on my account, just sitting there. I'm like, I have no use. I am a useless piece of crap. I'm useless. Like, that's literally where he is. He's more useless than my second Gnarlhorn. Like, he's freaking almost that useless. Not quite, but almost that useless. Or, like, that's not even a good comparison. Like, my fifth Elhain or something. Maybe, no, he's a little bit more useful than my fifth Elhain, but, like, he's very niche. He is hyper niche. There's almost nothing I use him for. There's like Dragon's Lair, Clan Boss, Griffin. That's it. That's pretty much all I use him for. That's it. He has long been supplanted by Coffin Smasher. And Occult Brawler. Coffin Smasher, Occult Brawler, Drex. Long been supplanted. By comparison, by the way, Scylla the Drakes, I use her everywhere. She is probably the best login reward you can get. Aside from maybe Visix. And even then, it's debatable. Like, she's arguably better than Visix. She's insane. Scylla the Drakes. I use her in the most endgame of endgame content. Even in terrible places like the very bowels of Doom Tower, Dragon 21, Minotaur, Clan Boss occasionally, but she's not as good in Clan Boss. Clan Boss is probably her weakest place. Spider, Fire Knight, regardless of affinity. Everywhere I need like a support unit, she's there. Eternal Dragon, Bommel, maybe not Dark Fae, but everywhere else. Doom Tower waves. Morgoth. Like, a lot. Scylla the Drakes gets a lot of use time compared to Ninja. Ninja, this is one of the, like, last 3 places in the game where I use him. And I use him sparingly. Because everyone hates me for using him. This is literally his fate. He has less use cases than some uncommons. Literally his fate. And I use him less than uncommons. There are uncommons I use more than him. And he's not essential for this comp to work, by the way. He's not. He could die, literally die right now, and it wouldn't matter. This guy, on the other hand, if either Occult Brawler or Syl dies, the run's practically over. And the reason for it is quite simple. The reason for it, I mean, he's okay, I guess. He's okay. But even on the boss, guess who takes MVP? Not even Ninja. Take a look. The damage speaks for itself. Occult Brawler is literally the reason the dragon dies. Occult Brawler is probably the most underrated champ in the game. Literally the most underrated. Like, the most underrated champ is probably Occult Brawler. Like, I'm gonna be straight with you, okay? Occult Brawler is the most underrated champ in Raid. Literally the most underrated. People don't talk about how good he is. But everywhere you need lots of damage, specifically poison damage versus bosses, he is so valuable. Like, I can't emphasize this enough. What other underrated champs do I want to put in here? Who's really underrated that I feel like should be in here? Yep, War Maiden. War Maiden and Occult Brawler are some of the most underrated champs in Raid. Literally. So underrated. Especially, and I want to emphasize these words, Occult Brawler. Occult Brawler is the most underrated champ in Raid. People do not appreciate the value of his poison. They don't appreciate all the dungeon content. They don't appreciate what kind of ridiculous carry Occult Brawler actually is. If I can keep him alive to the boss, the dragon is screwed. You know another champ that's really underrated, but I need a 6-star? Frozen Banshee. Frozen Banshee is unbelievably underrated. People don't appreciate Frozen Banshee. Like, they see Frozen Banshee and you're like, ah, I pulled nothing. I'm like, excuse me. Excuse me? You just pulled nothing? Excuse me? It's the same thing with War Maiden. They're like, I pulled nothing. Nothing to see here. I'm like, seriously? You pulled War Maiden and you told me there's nothing to see here? She's hot. What the hell are you talking about? There's plenty to see here. I do not know what the hell you're talking about. Granted, we may end up having to 3-man this because... yeah, we're going to have to 3-man this. Hopefully. Because the thing is, Occult Brawler, being the right affinity, can survive a specific amount of punishment. Drexthar can take usually even more punishment unless it's Mashald. In which case... well, it depends. It depends on how much resist. I don't know. Like... see, Occult Brawler and Drex are both titans in their own right. But yeah, Occult Brawler is the most underrated champ in the game. It's why I probably need to get him to 6-star. Well, not 6-star. Why I need to get his masteries complete. Because he is literally the most underrated champ in Raid. Granted, I don't think we can win without him. That's how valuable he is. If he dies, the whole team collapses. It's gone. It's over. Yeah, Vogoth, I'll show the Vogoth team, but yeah, if Occult Brawler dies and I don't have a revive for him, forget about it. Run over. Literally run over. If that doesn't tell, like, because I'm not surviving the dragon with just Drexthar. He doesn't have the stats right now to solo it. If that doesn't tell you how valuable Occult Brawler is for this team, I don't know what will. Because I knew I was going to lose after that. Because there's no winning without him. We're not winning this level of Dragon's Lair without Occult Brawler. That he literally is the heart and soul of this team. Everyone else is just extras. That's the truth. He is the heart and soul of this team. And he will be the heart and soul of my clan boss team soon. I just need to get him with full masteries and get a team set up around him. Because again, he is a beast at damage. A beast. I need to emphasize beast. The capital B. The most underrated. The most underrated champ in Raid. If you have an Occult Brawler, don't ignore him. You are missing out. You are missing out. Also, don't ignore Calvalax if you have him either. But I don't think anyone's ignoring Calvalax. They might be ignoring Occult Brawler. They're not ignoring Calvalax. There's too much press on Calvalax for people to ignore him. But they all ignore Occult Brawler. Even though he is probably one of the absolute best damage carries for dungeons. I mean, he does damage, but his biggest problem is keeping him alive, actually. Because he's not the most durable poisoner. He's competent at poison, don't get me wrong. He's insane at poison, but he's not the most durable. Sucks to admit that. That is Occult Brawler's biggest downfall, is that he's not a very durable poisoner, and also is that he only does poison. He's still useful despite this, but he only does poison. He doesn't offer wave clear. But other than that, I would say he is probably the most underrated champ in the game. Because you don't need wave clear, and you don't need wave clear or true survivability in some of these dungeons. You just need to build a team around him to make him survive. And he will do a immense service versus the bosses. Granted, you need to build him with accuracy. If you don't build Occult Brawler with accuracy, you will suffer, because that's like his big thing. He's better than Kale in Dragon's Lair, especially at this level. He is better than Kale. Straight up. He is. 100%. I'm not even debating that. He is. I mean, he's not the fastest. Here's the thing. If you have a wave clearer, he won't replace your wave clearer. You'll still want a wave clearer. He won't replace your survival element. But for actually damaging the boss, he's a god. He's a straight up god. It's just getting him to the boss is the problem. Because once you get him to the boss, he will mess that boss up. Okay? Except for Spider. He's not very good at Spider. But almost all the other major bosses, he will mess it up. He's not the absolute best at Fire Knight. He can be used in Fire Knight, but you need multi-hitters to supplement him because he's a single hitter. You need someone to multi-hit to crack the shield off so he can chunk the poison on it. Versus Minotaur, he's amazing. Clan Boss, he's one of the best champs in Clan Boss, period. There are some better champs like Brogni and this fusion, Hellcath, which is why I'm even bothering to do this fusion. Now, the reason that Hellcath is technically better is he he provides not only a lot of damage like Occult Brawler, but he provides a block damage and an increased defense buff. So if you pair him with Occult Brawler, they can really work well together, because Hellcath gives Occult Brawler the thing that he needs above all to be truly godlike versus the clan boss, and that is survivability. So that is why Occult Brawler, in the end of the day, is an extremely important part of a much larger picture. Why I still want these llamas, because the llamas are going to allow me to potentially fuse a champion that's going to keep Occult Brawler alive. Now, you're like, oh, but he didn't put poison there. He will start stacking them. Every time he gets a turn, he gets a major chance, see, to stack the poisons. The poison stacking begins. He lifts his cleaver and puts the poison on the boss. That's his thing. And I don't care what anyone says about Occult Brawler. I don't care if they tell me that he's not useful. I'm going to be continually using this guy in dungeons long after all the other critics of Occult Brawler have withered into husks. That is the truth. Because he is much more valuable than he appears. He is the biggest damage source by far for this boss. Every turn he puts the poison out and then he goes in. And he's an epic, so he's not that hard to get. You see how fast he's stacking that poison? You see that? You can fill a whole bar with poison in like seconds, you know? I'm so looking forward getting his masteries filled. And then we can start doing some real clan boss damage. He's not great versus Hydra, mainly because the Hydra heads are not they're not vulnerable to poison. If a boss is vulnerable to poison, he goes to town. He absolutely goes to town. See? Like so. And with that, I think we done it. I think we finally done it. Yeah, we got the llama. Whoa, we got the llama. The llama. The llama. Let's go. That's way too many points for a llama.